Hello, welcome everyone to another Zoom group. Um, so, somebody was mentioned to me last time when I was talking about that it's just really you. There's no group. It's just really you and me, and that I'm not really even there. I'm just on a little piece of plastic or a computer, a bit of metal, whatever, in front of you. That I was leaving out the connection side of it, and that's true because well, there's two uh, aspects always in anything really. There's what you could talk about as being in existence and then out of existence. So in existence is everything that you feel, not everything that you can see. Like this, when I say, what's really happening is just you're in a room, you're listening to your computer. That's what's happening. Um, that's what's in existence. Um, then what's happening out of existence is the connection between us all who are participating in this and everyone else in the world. So that's sort of a bit heady and a bit like, oh, what is he talking about? So let me just bring it more into your own experience. So your skin and your sensation, or how you perceive existence, is pretty much through your senses. Without your senses, you wouldn't really have any sense of existence at all. And your senses give you the impression that there's this big, huge world out there, and that things are outside you, and they're all happening out there. And you can sort of deconstruct all your senses and realize that most of them, no, them all happen inside you. So, like very quickly, um, like say take touch. Like if I'm just picking up a glass of water here. So as soon as I touch this glass of water, it makes me feel like it's out there and it's real because I'm touching it and I'm seeing it. So if I close my eyes, it's like, well, I can still feel it. I still know it's there. There's still something happening out there in existence, right? But if you deconstruct it, and so I'm watching my hand and it's coming closer to the glass, and then when it touches it, it's like, yeah, well, there it is. I can feel it. So that means it's out there. It's definitely in existence. But where is the touch happening? It's happening inside me. It's happening in my fingers and the sensation in my fingers. Because if I close my eyes and I touch the glass, it's like, yeah, well, it's just all happening inside me. It's happening inside my fingers. The same with the sound. The Doppler effect is something gets closer, it gets louder and gets quieter as it goes away. That can make you feel like, oh yeah, it's definitely out there because I could hear that thunder in the distance and all that kind of thing. But where are you hearing it? Like, where are you registering that? Inside, again. So that's those two. Same with taste. Like, you can't even see your own mouth. Like, you can see it in a mirror, but that's in front of you. That's not the same as the way you see other people's mouths. So you put something into this part of your face, and then you have a sensation, and you call that taste. I mean, you could stick your tongue out, you could just see the tip of your tongue, but either way, the sensation of taste, that's happening inside. And then, what have I done? I've done taste, touch, smell. That all happens inside as well. Where you register it is inside. And sight. Now, you could say, well, hang on, sight definitely, that has to be out there. But, sight's a funny thing. Like, the like if you've ever looked at a nice painting, particularly one of, you know, a lovely landscape and the rolls away into the distance, and the clouds and this maybe nice sunrise and the horizon. That's flat. That's a flat. That's a flat two-dimensional thing. Your mind, your brain, or you know, inside, you're interpreting it. I mean, that's what it is to be a representational artist, is to create a two-dimensional thing that looks like a three-dimensional thing. And there's a kind of a clue or a signifier of how vision actually works. So, you know, I talked a little bit about never having seen your own face. That's the start of it. But then another good one is that you never see the other side of anything. What I mean by this is if you're standing in front of a tree, you can never see the other side of the tree. So if you go around the other side of the tree, you can see that side, but you can't see the side you were on. So, and if you walk around it slowly, you start to see that it all kind of adjusts so that you never see the other side of anything, trees, objects. I mean, if you look around where you are now, whatever is in front of you, you can't see the other side of it. And the other side, I don't mean literally the other side, like, you know, say if I again hold up this glass and go, oh, well, I can't see the other side of this glass. Well, if I go over there, well, there's the other side, right? I mean it as an idea, or not as an idea, but as a principle, right? So if you look around the room that you're in now and you think about the other side of the things in front of you, if you get up and walk around, you'll see the other side of them, but the side that you could see a moment ago, you can't see that anymore. So the other side, it's a bit like the dark side of the moon, you know, it moves with you. As you move, it moves. And you can never see the other side of things. And again, you might go, why does that matter? Well, it's to sort of indicate like that there isn't the depth, or there may not be the depth that there appears to be. Like these are little kind of clues. Like, for example, if you say, well, there must be depth because if I travel down a road, you know, the small things in the distance get bigger and the things that were big get smaller. But, you know, if you've ever been in a fairground, or that kind of effect is very easy to recreate and you feel like you're going somewhere. Like there's those simulator things in fairgrounds where you go on a space journey, or even if you stand in a 360 cinema, that means where it covers your whole peripheral vision and it's a film of a roller coaster, you'll feel nauseous, right? And that's again another kind of indicator that things are not what that vision isn't as, it doesn't confirm that there's a big existence thing happening out there. Because you could look, like if you look around the room that you're in now at all the things that you can't see the other side of, and don't do this for too long because it can, you know, be a bit trippy. But if you, for a moment, if you stop thinking about everything as being solid and that everything has a back to it, right? Because our minds kind of create the back of everything. Our minds create the other side of everything for us, and gives us the impression that we're in this 360-degree thing. But just for a minute, just for a laugh, don't do that. And just for a minute, imagine that you're, or not imagine, but have a sense of that you might be looking at a screen, right? And that what you're looking at is just this very elaborate screen, virtual reality sort of a thing that adapts to you moving your head. You know, if you go from side to side, you see one side disappears and the other side gets filled in. And that possibly it's flat, and it's only really it's as far away as the nearest thing you can touch, you know? Okay, so stop doing that now, because that gets very trippy very fast. So all that goes towards, you know, what is in existence. existence is the thing you wake up to in the morning. It's you come out of the mystery into dreaming. Your mind starts to engages, and you start dreaming. Your unconscious is at work in your dreams, and you're going through all this stuff. And then your eyes come open, and there's that instant where you're just present, but you don't know who you are. You don't know where you are. You know you are, but you don't know anything else other than that. I mean, sometimes it can last for, up to a second, but there's this period of like just presence. It reminds me of being a baby. I sort of feel like I can't remember, but I have a sort of a memory of that's what it was like being a baby, just being aware. So anyway, you wake up in the morning and your eyes are open, and you're not sure, you don't know who you are, you don't really care. The idea of being a somebody hasn't really come into the picture yet or anything. And then slowly all the pieces come into place. You're, oh, I'm for me, oh yeah, that's right, I'm a man, this is my bedroom, my name is John, blah blah blah, these are all my stories, and it all comes back together. Okay. And then I'm in existence. Right? I'm looking in existence. So a way of thinking about it isn't, when I was saying deconstructing all those senses things, is instead of like there being a planet, planet Earth, and you are a little person on planet Earth, which is one of the sort of it's kind of the illusion that existence has. You could think of it, or another way to think of it is that existence is this, it's like a sphere, let's call it a sphere, that you look into. A very sophisticated, lovely sphere that you look into, and that it's almost like you take on this kind of glove puppet. You kind of come into this body and work it like a puppet. And it's very sophisticated. When you're not there, it kind of keeps going on idle. And you come into it in the morning and go about your day in existence. So just hold that as a model, right, of that's existence. And then what happens out of existence is where you sense everything. It's where everything comes back to. So the vision, the sensations, that's where you feel everything is out of existence. But more than that, it's you can withdraw further from existence. Like as soon as you start shutting down your senses, like as soon as you close your eyes, you've withdrawn from the vision side of existence. So that beautiful holographic thing stops. And again, this is a little bit trippy, but it's more just, I actually want to focus on out of existence, but I just have to explain it in this way to make so you can see that there's a membrane between existence and out of existence. So you withdraw from it every night. Every night you lie down and you withdraw from all your senses. You sort of you close your eyes, obviously, so there goes vision. And then you're aware of sounds and sensations of the sheets and whatever smells are in the room, whatever tastes are still going on in your mouth. But little by little, you start to withdraw from them into you withdraw, and then you're into dreaming, where you are like having these complicated thoughts. Because remember, thought, like when you close your eyes, you still see things, like you still vision still goes on, which is another kind of demonstration of how vision is really happening out of existence. So when you close your eyes, you can still, like if you are looking at the room now that you're in and you close your eyes, you can still see it, if you know what I mean. You can still see it mentally, okay? Or the last snapshot you took before you closed your eyes. And if you wanted to, you could, look at where you are now, close your eyes, and then imagine, a pink elephant slowly passing through your room. Like you could do that. That's kind of what dreaming is. It's your mind just playing with things, or you just playing with things. I don't like to use the mind thing too much because it's a lot more. There's a lot more to it than that. So, as you withdraw from existence into out of existence, and you're going through dreams and you're imagining all these things, because in dreams you have a lot of sensations as well. You touch things. I mean, that's what's exciting about dreams, is they're so real. But at some point you withdraw even further from them and you're fully into the mystery, into the deep dreamless sleep. And there's kind of, if you think of existence and looking into existence as this kind of sphere that you're looking into, then as you pull back from it, you could think of existence as being like its own little I was going to say planet, but that's a bit confusing. Let's just think of it as that sphere. So when you pull back from it, there's a whole other thing going on out of existence. Just like, I've never really got into it, but people who play those games, they can really get into these online games where they have the headphones and the speaker, and they even have the goggles, and they're fully into it, and they have a whole almost other life going on. Or when the internet kind of started, there was a period where there was chat rooms where people would chat, and you could be talking to somebody and they could be saying, I'm a biker, and I'm 6'5", and I very burly, and I drive a motorbike, and and it could be a small little person who's a very meek and mild person who's not like that at all, and you just never know. And it's kind of similar, like, as there's a lot going on out of existence, and there's you can connect with people out of existence. I mean, that's where I do my work, when I do the one-to-one sessions with people. That's all happens out of existence, and I'm just quite familiar with it, so it's not a big deal for me. So we'll come back to it in a minute, but just for now, what I'd like you to do is just to sort of feel what I'm talking about. So we do a little meditation. So if wherever you are, if you just can sit with your hands on your thighs, and then if you just close your eyes. So I'm going to be open and close my eyes, but you just close your eyes, okay? It's all right. I'm not going to be making faces at you while you have your eyes closed. Maybe. So if you close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths, sit up straight if you can, just help, and focus your attention on the sensation in your hands. Just that lovely tingling feeling in your hands just below the surface of your skin. And now put your attention on your thighs, and just again, the sensation, the quality of the sensation in your hands is going to be different to the sensation in your thighs, but it will be there as well. It is a kind of a tingling, but the frequency of it is a bit slower, certainly in my body anyway. So just feeling the sensation in your thighs. Okay. And then just go back to the sensation in your hands. And then your thighs as well. And what you might notice is that the two sensations begin to blur and merge together a little bit, which is fine. So just lift your hands off your thighs ever so slightly so that they're not making contact anymore. And now feel the sensation in your thighs. Feel different. It won't have the sensation of a hand on it anymore. And then go to the sensation in your hands. It will be different as well. It won't have the sensation of having a thigh under it anymore. Feel the difference? And then just bring your hands back down to your thighs again and feel what it feels like as your hand touches down on your thigh. And then you can kind of experiment with it a little bit just yourself. You can lift your hand off, lift one hand off, lift the other hand off, back and forth. Because what you're feeling there is the membrane between existence and out of existence. Because the sensation in your thigh and in your hand, that's out of existence. That's inside you. And then when they touch each other, that's the membrane coming together. Okay, so now, keeping your eyes closed, have a sense of pulling back a little bit from existence. I can feel like you're going backwards or dropping down, doesn't matter. But just do stay with the sensation in your hands and your fingertips. So still with that lovely tingling sensation in your fingers and your hands. Now reach your hands out on either side of you if you can. Right out, stretch out on either side. You doing that? Now, see if you can feel my hands out of existence. Because we're all connected here. Everyone who's on this part of the group here is connected. So see if you can get a sense. I don't mean imagine it, because you can imagine a pink elephant pretty fast, and you can imagine the sensation of my fingers. That's different to actually feeling something different. See if you can get a sense of my hands touching your hands. Don't make it up. Don't need to. And try and relax your shoulders. I know the weight of your hands, having them out like that can be a bit much. Bend your elbows slightly, just cock your elbows a little bit. It's more just to get the sensation. Yeah. And now see if you can feel the other people. There are other people. There are always other people out of existence waiting to do this with you. So even if you're watching this on video, doesn't matter. You can still do this, and there will be people to connect with. There are always people there to connect with out of existence. So now let the sensation of the other people sort of travel towards you, closer to your body. So you're almost like putting your arm around them. Now you can keep doing it and put your arms down if you want, because the strain on your arms can be distracting. But even though you put your arms down, you can still feel like they're out there, because Inside, you're not limited by the shape of your body. You can do whatever you like. Okay, so yeah, open your eyes when you feel like it. So both are true. Both are true simultaneously. Like it's very good to, when you're in existence, be in the present, be in the actual exact moment that you were in, and not project with your mind. So in existence, you are wherever you are, in whatever room you're in, and you are, seeing images of me on a device and hearing my voice. Okay, that's what's happening in existence. What's happening out of existence is we're connected, and that's very powerful. That connection. As I say, that's how I can work remotely with people, because there's no limitations out of existence. Like if you want to get a sense of how powerful it is, well, you don't have to. It's not a great stretch to go, well, I must have come from out of existence, because I don't remember where I came from. Meaning, this consciousness, this awareness, this thing that you see in the mirror, not even in the mirror, but this continual presence that you have of who you are, this awareness that wakes up in the morning, that came from somewhere, and it's probably came from out of existence. So connecting with out of existence is very powerful, because you're tapping into the driving force of your life there. It's powerful, as I say, because everything in existence encourages you to really believe in it, to really think it's real. It's kind of designed like that. In a way, it has to be like that. And it's all very, not unsaid, but you just assumed. Things like, my body must be the same as everybody else's body. Everyone else has got a back to their head, so I must have a back to my head. Everyone has got a face, so I must have a face. Like, those are all assumptions, because you've never seen your face. You've never seen your back, the back of your head. Even if you're really good at yoga, you can't see your back. Because seeing it in a mirror is not the same. That's in front. That's in existence. And that's okay. Like, that's, existence has to have its sense of validity. It 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 only becomes important to see through it when you're going through further emergence, because further emergence is coming from out of existence. It's driving your whole life, and if it wants to get your attention about something, it will. And if you're going through further emergence, it will be getting your attention about something. So it's coming from this very deep place. So when it's coming from that, when you're getting a communication from out of existence, if you fully think everything is what it appears to be, it will be it. That's why it's so disorienting, because it would be like that person playing this virtual reality game. They're really into it, and they're fighting these dragons in a dungeon. It's always Dungeons and Dragons, isn't it? And then, if somebody is say, let's say it's this, cliche teenage boy playing the game, and his mother is trying to get him to do some chores or come home, come downstairs for dinner or whatever, and he won't come down, and she starts tapping him on the back or the side or whatever. Like there'll be a moment of disorientation for him because he's fighting the dragon or whatever in his game, and there's this like, what is that tapping? What is going on? That's very like what further emergence is, because what further emergence is going, hey, this is not the real reality. There's something else here. There's something deeper, and it's tapping you. And because it's tapping you, it's like everything in existence suddenly is like shaking a little bit and being disoriented. It makes you disoriented. Everything in existence is being disturbed because of that. And that can cause all the different weird things that go along with further emergence, because it's everything from physical things, because physical symptoms are they start off way back and then they print out in the body. The cells, our cells of our bodies behave like iron filings, and the magnet under the paper of that analogy is this our presence, or our what comes forward into our bodies. Like our bodies have a certain amount of autonomy, like when we completely withdraw in sleep, they keep going, they keep breathing, or they look like they do. I don't know because I'm never there. But when I come back into my body, it's still, okay. It still kept going. It's still alive. But my direct experience of it is I disappear. So for me, like existence, and for everyone, I think, who goes to sleep, every night when I disappear back into existence, it all stops. Like existence just disappears. It's gone. And you could say, well, it keeps going. Look, well, I don't know that it keeps going. I have no experience of that. You could say, well, that's bullshit. Of course it keeps going, because look, current events continue on and things happen, and I can video you. That's what I'll do. I'll video you when you're asleep, and then you'll see that you were, it didn't disappear. But like, where am I going to watch that video? I'm only going to watch it in existence, when I am present and in existence. It doesn't prove anything. All it proves is there's a video of what looks like my body, or it is my body, but it's the same as looking at my face in a mirror. It doesn't prove anything really, because my direct experience, which kind of touches on what I was talking about last week about external authority telling you what is the way things are rather than your own direct experience, is that it all disappears every night. And then in the morning it all reappears perfectly. Mostly the way I left it. Usually I go to sleep in the dark and I wake up in the light, so it's not exactly the way I left it, but mostly everything is where I left it. Certainly, mostly my body is the way it is, And if, as I say, a body kind of runs autonomously, so if it needs me for something, like if you've ever had the experience of having to get up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet, it's like you're summoned, you're pulled back. It's like, oh, look, I need to get up. We need to do something here. So I'll come back into existence, whatever. And again, this kind of information is only necessary if you've got something going on, if you're getting your attention about something, because it ruins the fun. It's not like I walk around going, oh, this is just an illusion. This is not real. That's like somebody standing up in a cinema, whether it's me or, to myself, just be like somebody stand up in a cinema when everyone's crying at this heartbreaking scene going, what are you all crying for? This is just shadows flickering on a wall. There's nothing really happening here. What are you all crying for? to kind of walk around in existence going, this isn't real. This is just bullshit, man. That's kind of taking the fun out of it, because one of the things about existence is it's pretty compelling. You know, even the bad stuff is pretty compelling. And I know it's compelling because I show up every day. It's not like I go back into existence one night and wherever I am, let's say there's some, celestial lounge or some place. It's not like I go, I'm back there going, yeah, I think I'll go. I won't go in today. I think I'll just stay here today. That never happens. Closest it comes is if I'm very ill, if like delirious, then you kind of go in and out of it. But mostly I'm like, yeah, I want to get right back in there. I'm going to come right back into this body, 6 hours later, 7 hours later, whatever length of time I'm asleep, I'm back in and fully engaged with it. What I do feel like, when I was saying I don't wander around going, oh, this is not true, this is bullshit. What I do feel like is that I will feel just before I go asleep, I'll have this feeling of like hanging my coat up on the, like if you're leaving your office, like hanging my work coat up for the day on the office no, like on the back of the door and like closing the office door for the day. It often feels like that, and that I'm going home when I'm going asleep. Right, I'm just going to assume if you have a question, you're just going to ask me. Okay, I'm not going to keep asking for questions. Yeah, so knowing all that just makes it easier when further emergence things are happening, but it can ruin the fun if you continually stay with it. So I think it's really important to dismantle existence and know in your own experience that it's not as real as it looks. But then it's important not to allow it to ruin the enjoyment of life, because everything in existence it doesn't really matter that much, because it all disappears every night as you in your own experience, and then it reappears again. But as you get used to seeing that, you kind of go, yeah, actually nothing really matters that much here, because it's all it's not like a case of where people talk about history and legacy and future generations and all that kind of thing. That's all true, but within the context of existence, and it's an existence that, in my experience, just disappears every night, and same probably for you. But there are some things that happen in existence that are real, very real, and communication is probably the most real. In fact, it feels to me like communication is probably what existence is for, in the same way as those chat rooms I was talking about, the early days of the internet. It's a way for us to communicate. And the assumption is that we're all the same because we have the same we look the same. But you probably had the experience of meeting someone or looking in their eyes and just having a sense of that they're very different to you. I don't mean that they're just different gender or ethnicity or background or anything like that, but they just don't feel the same as you. They just have a different energy. I'm not saying aliens, because aliens is all that alien stuff is in existence. Planets, outer space, that all happens in existence. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that you can get a sense of that they're very different kind of beings, in the same way that you're a being and I'm a being, but very different kind of being. But we all communicate through these bodies. And it sort of feels like existence is about being able to communicate. That's one thing. And if you think of it as that kind of orb that you're kind of looking into, it's like when you're talking to somebody and you're looking in their eyes, it's like they're on the other side of the orb looking through. And I know for myself, when I'm talking to people, I never assume like that whatever's on the other side is the same as me. Um, but we are managing to communicate in one way or another. And that's why if we can communicate anything, I think it's a miracle, because everybody is in their own little reality. Like, one of the ways existence kind of works is you're encouraged to sort of feel like you're sharing the same reality as other people. But for me anyway, I have no proof of that. Not in existence. No proof that my existence is the same as somebody else's. Like in terms of like this little orb that I'm in. So like if you take something like the color red, like that's really just something we agree on. Like how I experience red may not be the same as anybody else's, but we've just agreed on that color. But I've no proof. I've no direct experience that when I say to somebody, "Hey, look at that red car," and they look at it and go, "Yeah," that they are seeing the same thing I am, that they're registering out of existence, because remember, sight, it's all happening out of existence, is the same. And like for people, like this is kind of evident when you talk to people who have, okay, like the red car is just a way of kind of explaining it, but in practice, you'll kind of come across people who, for example, well, just like in a very kind of light way, like have you ever met anybody who was convinced that they had a thing about tardiness or being late for things? I've known a few people like that, and it's very hard to be on time for them. I have found, like, I have to really work hard, like just in the natural flow. Like, I'm generally good at punctuality. I mean, I'm not fantastic, but I'm generally okay. But I've found that there are, for example, with people who have a thing about punctuality, it's very hard to be on time for them. Like, without meaning to, I invariably am like 5-10 minutes late for them. And if it bothers me enough, I'll make an extra effort and I can get there on time. But that's my reality kind of pushing into theirs, because in their world, in their like existence, their reality, everybody's late for them. Nobody is on time. And then they just keep getting confirmation of the same thing. And I find that, again, I could be just completely deluded here, but I find that very a helpful way of seeing people, because, well, I mean, it backs up for me because I've only got my own experience to go on, so I've got my own experience of inexistence, and then I do all the connecting, the beautiful connection, we are one, we are all one. That all happens outside existence. So for me, what happens in existence, I've only got my own experience of it. So when I'm observing someone and they're saying, "Oh, the country is going down the tubes and the world is going up in flames and it's the end of the world," I am reluctant to just immediately contradict them, because for me, it's like, well, that's not my reality. That's not my little bubble of existence at all. But for them, it may be. And I don't want to interfere with them. I don't want to, be so arrogant as to kind of impose my reality on theirs. Because, if they're not hurting somebody, it's not going to make any difference to me. if they're hurting themselves, that's kind of between them and themselves. If they haven't asked me a question, because there's great power in questions. Like questions are somebody's way of saying to you, how is it in your reality? And then you've got an opening to tell them about your reality. But that's the way I view it. Like I view it as me just saying how things are in my reality. I don't have any um, desire to change how they see how they are in their reality. Like there's this thing, you see it often, there's my truth and your truth and the real truth. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. I think there's just my truth and your truth. I don't think there is any universal truth, because the universal truth comes from this idea of we're sharing existence, which we're not. We're sharing out of existence, but not existence. Existence is a very personal thing, tailor-made, probably by us, to help us with, whatever question we're working through in our lives. So that's different for each person. So if somebody says, the country's going down the tubes and all that kind of thing, and they're not asking me, is that the way it is for you? Then that's fine. Off they go. I don't have any, desire to try and impose my reality on them, or my little reality bubble on them, because I have a very deep respect for their process and their journey. So I won't interfere with that. I think it's a Taoist thing. Oh, camera's gone again. I think it's a Taoist thing of not disturb the questioning. So each person is going through their questioning about themselves, and for me anyway, I really respect that process, and I won't like interfere with it. That's why, like, generally I'm quite quiet around people, and I'll let them talk, because I'm kind of listening for a question, unless it's, even when it's quite easy and light-hearted, that's just beautiful, fun interaction. But even that can swing into someone just out of the blue can say something profound, and like suddenly the stakes have changed, and now we're talking about a whole other thing, even though they might have said it in a light-hearted way. And again, that information comes from out of existence. Like intuition, that comes from out of existence. All the very real stuff comes from out of existence. So, yeah, I'm listening most of the time when I'm talking to people, because I'm listening for are they, because people generally throw out things. They'll just throw out these, oh, the country's going down, or whatever, or even just in very subtle ways about how the things are for them. And I mean, unless it's like they're being blatantly racist or sexist or something like that, or something where you have to kind of go, well, that's not how I see things. But if it's, just to do with them, playing golf is a great example. My God, it's so obvious playing golf what's going on for people, because you could say golf is a game where you're playing with other people, but you're not really. Like, no one ever hits a golf shot and everybody else gets annoyed at them. Well, that can happen sometimes, but very rarely. The only time they get annoyed is when they hit the golf shot and they feel like they didn't do it the way they wanted. But you can sort of, I've heard people calling themselves lazy. They'll hit a golf shot and they'll go, they'll get so annoyed at themselves. And it's hilarious to me, because it's like, I mean, I don't say this to them, but it's like, what, were you trying to do it badly? Are you annoyed because, you came up and you was lined up for your shot and you thought, you know what, this one, I'm just not going to give a shit. I'm just going to, I'm not going to care. I'm just, nope, nobody does that. Nobody does that at all. Everyone tries to hit every golf shot as best they can. But the level of abuse people give themselves about it is just amazing. So that's the sort of thing where I'll just listen to that because that's just between them and them, and it's none of my business. I kind of feel like most things are none of my business with people. Okay. Wow, I've been chatting away there for an hour about that stuff. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. It was very nice to connect with you out of existence. And yeah, if there are no questions, I'm going to wrap it up. No. Okay. Well, thanks for coming along to the Zoom group, and I'll see you next week. Bye.